Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Daniel Gormally. I'm a Grandmaster based in England, in Northumberland. Welcome back. So today I want to announce exciting news. My new Chessable course has been released, right? So let me have a look. Let me show you what the course is all about. Okay, so it's opening course by GM Daniel Gormally, 2509 FIDE. They need to update that, guys. I'm not 2509 FIDE anymore. I wish I was. I'm 2435 on the last list and going down. Probably be about 24 to 27. But that doesn't really matter, does it? The main point is I'm a Grandmaster. I've earned my title. The only world champion I played against was Boris Spassky, who sadly died yesterday. So R.I.P. Boris Spassky. That wasn't in the French defence. He played the Braille defence. So the French defence is obviously where black plays e4, e6, and yeah. So really, I'm giving a very digestible course against the French and like how to beat the French. I do remember a conversation I had with another Grandmaster years ago, and he said that actually some of the courses that sell the best are beating, like beating the French, beating the Caro. Courses like that apparently sell quite well. Generally speaking, when I've done courses for Chessable, they've been on middle games. This is the first time I've done an openings course. Partly because I thought, well, you want to look at sales, don't you? Because if you want to do stuff like this in the future, you have to impress the company. If you do like a video that bombs, then it's not gonna, it's not really gonna advertise you as a company. They're probably not gonna employ you again. But if you do a video that does well, and probably quite likely that an openings video will do well, then more likely you're gonna get future work, right? So yeah, the French Tarrasch, in my opinion, knight d2 by white is quite a solid variation. It says here, who better to guide you through this opening than Grandmaster Daniel Gormally? He's wrapped up podium finishes at the 78th Hastings International Open. Correct, yeah. I thought it was a 98th, but I might be wrong about that. I've been playing that year long. I probably also racked up podium finishes at 78th. Yeah, it's always nice to actually finish. Nice to win. It's always like I'm always like the bride, never the. I'm always like the bridesmaid, never the bride, right? 102nd British Championships. That's right. Second EU. I was second in the European Union individual championships. That's right. Yeah. So, his best qualification. Gormally has been picking the French apart with a Tarrasch for over 20 years. Since 2020, he's been racking up a ridiculous score of 89%. Yeah, that is a good score, actually. I wasn't aware of that myself. I've just learned that now. Yeah, so after knight d2, black has several replies. I mentioned this. c5 is one of the main replies. I go through that extensively. So in the video course, I give like a chapter. What happens if they just go c5 and then take back the pawn? Give themselves an isolated pawn. There's a whole chapter devoted to that. Check out the course. There's also like an easy guide as well. There's also a peek inside, so you can check out the peek inside video on Chessable. Give you some idea of what the course is all about. Yeah, so I think what I would say about the course is pretty the extent is quite an extensive coverage of the opening, and some people might look at it and say, this looks quite complex, but the way I present the material is a way that everybody can understand the material. I would also say that working with Chessable, the people they have working, they're really, really professional people, really great people, and they're really very encouraging. Right down from the boss, who is Gert, He's the CEO. He's a very nice guy, and a lot of the other people that I work with as well. You know, who are very, very professional people. It was a lot of hard work putting the course together. You know, it was 3 months of slog. I would say writing the course. That's what I say. It's quite an extensive course. You know, I don't skimp over the material. There's quite a lot of work to grind through. Um, but you know, when I present it on the video, it's done in a way that is quite, um, you know, it's quite easy to digest, like I say. And there's also a lot of humour that comes over. I joke around a lot. I make a lot of jokes. Yeah, the Fort Knox I mentioned on the video course, do a little sort of Goldfinger rendition. Goldfinger. You know, because that was obviously, Fort Knox was made famous in some ways by this film Goldfinger, a James Bond film, which came out in the early 60s. And Shirley Bassey did the theme tune. She actually did a theme tune on 3 different Bond films. I think Diamonds Are Forever is one, and there was one other one, which is name escapes me, but if you're watching at home, you might know the answer to this. You Only Live Twice. That was somebody else, maybe, right? Came out around about the same. Or as Tom Jones maybe did one like similar to that. Thunderbolt. Tom Jones, Thunderbolt, right? Yeah, so really, I'll go through it. I mentioned how people inspire me. People like Michael Adams, Sergei Tuvyakov, Garry Kasparov, Vishy Anand have inspired me, you know, to play this opening in many ways. And one of the things I would say with Chessable is there's a lot in there. You know, you get a lot for your buck. So it looks like a lot of money, but you get the video course. There's many hours of video course. You know, a lot of humour comes across. There's a lot of, you know, there's an easy way you can learn this opening. So your results are going to pick up immediately. And one of the things I noticed when I was obviously doing this course, I was then going into some of these tournaments abroad and playing this line. My results started to pick up. So, for example, the first 2500 player I beat in possibly over 10 years, Daniel Fernandez, I beat him in the Knight D2 French from the white side because I'd done this video course. It gave me more understanding of the opening. Suddenly, you know, my openings were like to maybe sort of stronger GM level in that particular line. If that was true of all openings, if I knew all openings as well as the Knight D2 French, you know, you could argue I should do a whole repertoire on a whole chess sort of like spectrum, the whole chess opening spectrum, and then I would suddenly possibly get up my openings up to say 2550 level, 2600 level, rather than overall 2430 level, which 2420 level, which I kind of am at the moment, and that makes a massive difference. You know, so if you want to get your openings up to scratch, this is a very simple way of doing it without having to put the work in that I had to put in. You just have to watch the videos. You know, you have to look at the course. You don't even have to do all of the videos. You don't have to do all of the course. You know, there's an easy starter guide in the video itself. So, yeah, people are playing the French a lot. You know, Ding Liren played the French in the recent World Championship match against Gukesh, and he won the first game. So it's clearly a very super opening, right? It's a strong opening for black. It's not considered to be maybe quite as good as the Sicilian or E4, E5, Ryla Pez or Berlin variation. But it's certainly very, very strong. There are some weaknesses, however, in black's position. Because they've got E6, they're weak in their position. And I show that in the course. And also, a lot of the stuff that I show will help to improve your overall understanding of chess, I believe. And so that is really what I wanted to talk about. I've also put up on the forum, I put up a post, my first opening. Yeah, I've already had a reply, very kind. Let me. Yeah, this is a nice thing about Chessable. It's like a big community, and people are very polite in general, and they're very sort of helpful and kind. Yeah, so congratulations on your first publication. Just curious if there's a list of differences between your course and recommendations in other courses like KSI 2.0 trampled the French and Wesley So's E4 repertoire. Curious to see how the style is in comparison to these courses. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good point because there are a lot of courses on Chessable now, and yeah, I think Giri as well also did a course, like a full E4 repertoire. So what is the difference? Because when I spoke to Gert, actually, he said that pretty much they've covered every opening on Chessable, right? So he did mention like 1G3, maybe do a course on 1G3 because nobody's pretty much done one on Chessable. So that would possibly sell well just because nobody else has done one. This is a problem that, Chessable, in a way, you could argue is a victim of its own success because it's been so successful. Everyone wants to get on there. That means pretty much every course has been done. A little bit like with general chess, that people are moving away from general chess because the openings have been so exhaustively analysed. So it's a very good point that the guy makes. Yeah, I must admit I didn't check out the other courses because I thought that if I check out the other courses, partly because I'm lazy, I can't be bothered, right? But also partly because I thought that would kind of alter my thinking, and I wanted to go in there with a really fresh mind and not have that baggage. But yeah, it's a good point. What I would say is I tended to play a lot of training games with computers, so whether that helps and just give you an idea of how the computer handles that position. So it does come up with a lot of new ideas. There are some new ideas, some novelties in that course. But I just hope that my course can stand out because obviously Chessable is a very competitive environment. Um, but also I do think that the video course, is unique because I don't think anyone has got the kind of like wacky sense of humour that I've got. I'll be honest, and I think that makes it stand out in its own regard. So, obviously, yeah, that is a good question. That's the question I really need to answer with this course. So hopefully it will sell well, but we'll see over the next few weeks and months whether it sells. I hope it sells reasonably well, because if it doesn't, obviously then you're then struggling to go back to Chessable and say, look, I want to do another course. So we'll look at the previous course. It had every chance of doing well and it bombed. So, but Chessable, like I say, I keep mentioning this, but a very encouraging website, a very kind website. They do give a lot of pro 7 days free. Also should mention chess.com as well, because chess.com and Chessable are the two same companies, right? So chess.com will also be publishing this course, I believe. Will also have some control over this course. So should mention chess.com as well. It's not really a Chessable course, it's a chess.com and Chessable course. Anyway, I'll put the video up on YouTube. You've got an idea and what to expect. Please leave your comments down below. What do you think about the course? Will you be buying the course? Are you interested in Chessable or in chess.com courses, and so on?